Have you ever had to redesign a website? I can tell you from my recent experience that redesigning a site is a lot more complicated than doing a brand new site from scratch. Or at least that was my experience. In the last few years, Google has changed its algorithms in a way that penalizes you if your site is not considered mobile ready. Well, mine was not mobile ready. So I've known for several years that I needed to make a change, but I put it off. A few months ago, I started seriously working on the project, trying to find exactly what I was going to do. I had several false starts. And then I eventually settled on a new theme that I thought would be good enough. And I installed it, and I even went live with it. But it was not really doing what I wanted it to do. And I didn't have the technical skill to modify it in the ways that it needed to be changed. Fortunately for me, one of my longtime readers is Dave Zemens, who is a web developer near Detroit, Michigan. Dave noticed that I had switched themes and said something to me. And to be honest, I didn't even know at the time that he was a web developer. And he asked me a couple of questions, and I responded and was kind of whining about the problems that I was having. And he volunteered to help me make a couple of changes. Well, one thing led to another, and it turned out that over the next week or so, Dave completely rebuilt the site from scratch. We threw out the old theme. Dave used an entirely different framework that he uses. He's been a professional web developer for the last 10 years, and so he is highly proficient at using a set of frameworks that run on top of WordPress. And I was already using WordPress, so this was a perfect match. Well, he spent a week putting up with me saying, well, Dave, what I really want is for it to do this. I want this column right here to exactly match what I've done over here. But in the meantime, I want a column here and a column here. And, half the time he would say, now, David, I don't think you really want to do what you think you want to do. And he was great to work with. He put up with my idiosyncratic ways. A lot of my ideas of design, of course, come from my old days in print. I spent years at newspapers, and then I spent years doing other graphic design for when I was working in politics. So I have certain design ideas about design which are old-fashioned, probably out of date in the web world. But I was trying to reproduce what I wanted. Dave was fantastic about putting up with me and saying, this is really not the way we want to do it online, but finding a way to do what I was trying to do. So he was fantastic. And Dave did not ask me to do this, but I want to strongly recommend that you talk with him if you have need for a website. If you need a brand new website, if your old site looks like something from 1998, give him a call. He can do something nice and modern for you. Obviously, this is what I had had for many years. It served my purpose well. I liked it just fine, but unfortunately, the developer for this particular theme is no longer around, and the theme is not being supported. So I had no choice but to start from scratch. This is what I have now, and I'm very happy with it. The remaining problems with it, if you want to call them problems, are simply things where I don't have enough strength to understand exactly what I should be doing. But I'm very happy with it. It turned out to be pretty much exactly what I wanted. And I'm a very happy person. I've had great feedback from it. Of course, maybe the people who hate it just haven't said anything to me. So I strongly advise you to talk with Dave. Send him an email, give him a phone call, check out his website, look at the other people that he has done work for. Now, I do want to say this. There are two members of his team. I work directly with Dave, but my work was not important enough for me to go all the way to being able to deal directly with Maggie the dog. that my only disappointment about this project is that I didn't get to work with Maggie. Maggie is a dog who's originally from Ohio, but now lives with Dave in suburban Detroit. So I'm terribly disappointed that I didn't get to work with her. I used to have a Maggie of my own, as you know, who died many moons ago. So I have a soft spot for Dave's Maggie too. Anyway, I highly recommend that you call Dave. I suspect that you will be at least as satisfied as I was. And if you're like me and you don't know what you're doing, the best thing to do is to put yourself into Dave's hands and say, make me look good, because he's going to make you look as good as you can look, which in my case is probably not very good. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.